Yes guys, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We've just seen the second pre-season friendly game here in Spain. It was against Levante. It was behind closed doors. Wolves dubbing it as a practice match rather than a friendly match, and it pretty much had it all, didn't it? First 45 minutes especially was absolutely ridiculous.
It was anything but a practice match.
I know.
It was the same in the game yesterday though, mate. There were some meaty challenges flying in, but this one just completely erupted, and you could see where it was going, and it was eventful, but it wasn't a great game of football.
No, I mean, we saw yesterday, obviously, Wolves really positive and big result against Alaves, so a lot of the core first team players didn't take part today. There were some players that had a good amount of minutes again. Morgan Gibbs-White, Pedence played their first 45, then Donker had a good amount of game time again. But the majority, for most of the 90s, sort of fringe players, under 23s players. And I'm sort of glad those players didn't play, the likes of Neves and Matidio and so on, because Levante were going into challenges hard and very, very late, and no wonder the Wolves players were getting wound up.
Yeah, but I suppose that their manager was saying that's exactly what I want. I want that kind of intensity, and maybe as Wolves fans, if it was Wolves doing that, you'd be like, well, you know, they're up for this. You can see this is the intensity we need, but I just think it's daft. I'm glad that they managed to have 11 versus 11 in the second half. I thought that was sensible. But the referee, like we've just said, you could see exactly where it was going.
Yeah.
And that's down to the referee to step in and say to the managers, look, sort this out. Hit that individual over there. Either sort him out, take him off, or I'm going to take it out of your own hands.
Yeah,
and he just went straight for the red card. It completely erupted. But you couldn't even see what was going on though. That's the most frustrating part. Yeah,
I mean, it was right in the first instance was right in the corner, and it was Mosquera. But with Mosquera, he'd been caught a couple of times quite late during the first half. And for you mentioned it earlier, for a young player, hasn't really been able to break to the first team yet. Had a number of injuries. If someone's coming in late like that in a pre-season game, you are going to get wound up, and he's obviously squared up to the opponent and all sorts. I've seen the media team were going on, the subs were going on, everyone was trying to break it up, and that's when the referee bandaged the first red card. I think it was one for Mosquera and one for the Levante player. They did actually take the lead before half-time as well. I think this is going to be one of the things that Wolves will have to sort out and tighten up on, where if we are going to be playing four at the back like we did see again today, it's going to be a high line. Yeah. The fullbacks are going to be bombing forward, so the centre halves are going to be stretched, and that's the first time really over the two games Wolves really got caught out, didn't they? Yeah,
and to be honest, I don't think Levante or Alaves really threatened Wolves, but when they did today, unfortunately, they took the chances. It's a risk you take with how we look like we're going to want to play. You know, we're pushing up onto the front foot. You know, pressing in their 18-yard box, but with that you've got to shift the whole team up, and you are going to be susceptible to balls over the top, and I think that's what caught us out, didn't it?
Yeah, it was that ball over the top. Obviously, we saw Sarkic for the full 90 yesterday. It was under 23 goalkeeper Jackson Smith that played the full 90 today. Hopefully we might see Jose Sarr coming on Saturday against Besiktas, but I think this game today and the game probably against Villarreal on Sunday is going to be similar to this, where it is going to be the lads that have flown out, going to get a lot more minutes to the fringe players. Like you said, on paper teams went down. I think it was 9 versus 9, because right on half time there was another instance where I think Pedence,
little Dan, wasn't it? Yeah.
Didn't like a challenge that went on him.
I don't think it was even a challenge. The ball was down the other end, and all of a sudden you see Gibbs-White absolutely sprinting off, and Pedence is ruffling a few feathers. I mean, like I said, we can't see what's happened, but you'd imagine he's either said something to him or stepped on his toe.
Do you think that something's changed? Not so much recently, but the whole last year, because even yesterday we saw scuffles. Neto had one, Dendoncker had one.
Dendoncker loves it though, doesn't he? I can't wait for Pedence's Instagram.
But do we have to be careful during the Premier League season though, if this is going to happen on a regular basis?
You want aggression, but you want controlled aggression, don't you? You know, you want your players to play with a bit of bite, but just silliness like that is exactly what you can't do. Because you know, if that's in the Premier League, that's going to cost you the game. And I wouldn't say it's cost us the game today, because we were just poor anyway. But you just got to keep a lid on things. Yeah.
And the second half, it didn't take Levante long to double the lead. Wolves have made some changes. We saw Cody and Bolly come in. Collins was playing right back for a little while. Hugo Bueno played left back for a long while. And they got their second goal. It was just a ball into the area that Wolves couldn't really deal with, and edge of the box, and they killed it in then, really. But like you said, other than those two chances, the ones that they'd scored from, I can't remember.
It's a well taken goal as well, but it's a different phase of play came from after Wolves not being able to clear the lines, like you said, dealing with a ball into the box. I couldn't really work out whether they're playing a 5 or a 4. It felt like it kept changing. I wasn't quite sure. Collins would be central, then he'd be out on the right.
I think it's a 4, but like I said, it's just extremely stretched how they play, which is good because I think it's going to allow us to get more men forward. But I think there are going to be some teething problems with it, which we'll see, and hopefully ironed out by the start of the season. But Wolves did score. I thought we were going to be firing a blank for the first time this pre-season. We did score. Totti Gomez, Conor Ronan cross into the area. Yeah. He had a strange game. He played the first 45, came off at half-time, and then got ball back on with Totti Gomez. Roll on, roll off.
It's such a... And you know what? The club have made it very, very clear that the message that they want to get across is this is not a pre-season friendly, it's a practice match. All the branding was practice match. Mikey Burrows mentioned it about 5 or 6 times. I think they're very clear on what they want fans to perceive this as. So strange. So strange. I don't even get that in Sunday League, do you? Player comes off, comes back on.
Yeah, but it was a good header from Totti Gomez, got up highest, really powerful header to give Wolves a consolation goal, let's say. But then the match was cut short full time at 85 minutes for some unknown reason. I don't know why the referee blew the whistle then. So you say on paper 85 minutes, but we lost about 10-15 minutes in the first half.
There's no added time or anything, was there, in the first half?
Couple of water breaks, so in total Wolves probably only played about 55-60 minutes of football today. But there we go, guys. Levante 2, Wolves 1 in the behind closed doors training match, pre-season exhibition friendly,
whatever it is. Whatever it is.
We'll be back on Saturday for our match reaction for the game against Besiktas. We'll be there again, and I'm sure we'll do some podcasts and other transfer videos in between as well. So enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Try and enjoy the sun if you're there, and we'll see you all very, very soon.